Martha Clearwater sat on the wooden bench outside the general store in Sunset Ridge, her arms wrapped protectively around her two young daughters. At 29, she bore the weight of someone who had endured too much, her once bright spirit dimmed by years of cruelty. 7-year-old Lucy pressed close to her mother's side, while 4-year-old Rose played quietly with a cornhusk doll, both girls unnaturally subdued for their ages. Martha's left eye still showed the purple remnants of her latest beating, a reminder of her husband's rage when Rose had been born a girl instead of the son he demanded. That final violence had given Martha the courage to take her daughters and flee in the night, traveling 300 miles to this frontier town where no one knew their story. But now, sitting in the afternoon sun with less than $2 to her name and nowhere to go, Martha wondered if she had saved her daughters or simply postponed their suffering. "Mama," Lucy whispered, "are we going to have somewhere to sleep tonight?" Before Martha could answer, a shadow fell across them. She looked up to see a tall man in his early 40s, with kind gray eyes and weathered hands that spoke of honest work. He wore simple ranch clothes and carried himself with quiet confidence. "Ma'am," he said, touching his hat respectfully, "I'm Jack Russell. I couldn't help but notice you and your girls seem to be waiting for something. Is there anything I can help with?" Martha's instinct was to refuse, to avoid drawing attention that might bring danger. But something in Jack's manner, a gentleness in how he looked at her daughters, made her hesitate. "We're just passing through," she said carefully. Jack's experienced eye took in Martha's fading bruises, the girls' too thin frames, and the careful way they all held themselves, ready to flee at the first sign of trouble. He had seen enough of life to recognize a family running from violence. "Well," Jack said easily, "if you're looking for work, I run a ranch about 10 miles out of town. I could use help with cooking and household management. There's a comfortable bunkhouse that's been empty since my last hired hand moved on. It's got 2 rooms and a good stove." Lucy looked up at her mother with hopeful eyes, while Rose continued playing but seemed to be listening intently. "Mr. Russell," Martha said quietly, "I should be honest with you. I'm running from my husband. He's not a good man, especially to daughters. If he finds us—" Jack's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Ma'am, I've got strong opinions about men who hurt women and children. If your husband comes looking for trouble, he'll find more than he bargained for. But more importantly, every child deserves to grow up safe and valued." Something in his tone made Martha look at him more carefully. "You sound like you have experience with children." Jack's expression softened with old grief. "My wife and I had a daughter, little Emily. They both died in childbirth 5 years ago. I'd give anything to have a child to care for again, especially daughters who need to know they're precious exactly as they are." Lucy, who had been listening quietly, suddenly spoke up. "Our papa said daughters were useless. He said we were mistakes." Jack knelt down to Lucy's eye level, his voice gentle but firm. "Lucy, your papa was wrong. Daughters are gifts, not mistakes. Some of the strongest, smartest, most important people in this world are women. You and Rose are valuable just because you exist, not because of what anyone else thinks about you." Rose looked up from her doll, studying Jack with serious 4-year-old eyes. "Are you nice to little girls?" "I try to be nice to everyone," Jack replied honestly. "But I have a special soft spot for little girls who are brave enough to ask important questions." Martha felt something tight in her chest begin to loosen. When was the last time anyone had spoken to her daughters with such respect and kindness? The arrangement Jack offered was more generous than Martha had dared to hope. The bunkhouse was clean and comfortable, with a good stove for cooking and plenty of space for the girls to play safely. Jack's ranch was prosperous enough to provide steady work and fair wages, but more importantly, he treated all of them with consistent respect and patience. Within weeks, the girls began to blossom under Jack's care. He never raised his voice, never showed impatience with their questions or their need for reassurance. When Lucy expressed interest in the horses, Jack patiently taught her how to care for them. When Rose showed a talent for numbers, he encouraged her to help him with simple ranch calculations. "Lucy," Jack said one afternoon as she helped him groom his mare, "did you know that some of the best horse trainers I've ever known were women? Women often have a natural understanding of horses that men have to work harder to develop." Lucy beamed with pride. Really? Could I learn to train horses someday? If that's what you want to do, I'll teach you everything I know, Jack promised. Martha watched these interactions with amazement and growing hope. Her daughters were discovering they could have ambitions, dreams, and goals beyond simply surviving their father's disapproval. One evening, as Martha was preparing dinner, she overheard Jack talking with Rose, who had been asking about why some people didn't like girls. "Rose," Jack said thoughtfully, "some people are taught wrong ideas about what makes a person valuable. They think only certain kinds of people matter, but that's not true. What makes you valuable is your kind heart, your curious mind, and your brave spirit. Those things don't have anything to do with whether you're a boy or a girl." Rose considered this seriously. "So Papa was wrong about us being bad?" "Your Papa was very wrong," Jack said firmly. "You and Lucy are wonderful exactly as you are. Any man would be proud to call you his daughters." Martha felt tears gathering in her eyes. Her girls were learning to see themselves not as disappointments or burdens, but as individuals with worth and potential. Months passed peacefully. Martha's bruises faded, and more importantly, the haunted look in her eyes began to disappear. The girls grew confident and happy, their natural personalities emerging as they learned they were safe to be themselves. One day, Lucy came running to the house with exciting news. "Mama, Mr. Jack says I'm the best student he's ever had with horses. He says I have natural talent." Rose wasn't far behind. "And he says I'm really good at numbers. He's going to teach me to keep the ranch books." Martha looked at Jack, who was watching the girls with obvious pride and affection. "You're teaching them to believe in themselves." "I'm teaching them the truth," Jack replied. "They're remarkable girls, Martha. They just needed someone to see it." That evening, as the girls played outside after dinner, Martha and Jack sat on the porch watching the sunset. "Jack," Martha said quietly, "I need you to know what a difference you've made in our lives. My daughters are learning to see themselves the way they should have been seen from the beginning." Jack was quiet for a moment, watching Lucy help Rose climb a tree with patient encouragement. "Martha, those girls have given me purpose again. When Emily died, I thought I'd never get to be a father. But Lucy and Rose have taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about choosing to love and protect each other." Martha felt her heart swell with emotion she hadn't dared to feel in years. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying that if you'd have me, I'd like to be their father in every way that matters. I want to adopt them legally, give them my name, and make sure they grow up knowing they're cherished and valued. I want to raise them proud of who they are." Lucy and Rose came running up to the porch, their faces flushed with play and happiness. "Mr. Jack," Lucy said breathlessly, "Rose and I were talking and we were wondering, would it be okay if we called you Papa? Our real Papa was mean, but you're good to us." Jack's eyes filled with tears as he knelt down to embrace both girls. "There's nothing in this world I'd like more than to be your Papa. If your mama says yes, then yes, I want you to be my daughters." Rose looked up at Martha with hope shining in her eyes. "Mama, can Mr. Jack be our new Papa?" "He likes daughters." Martha looked at her girls, so different from the frightened, subdued children who had fled with her months ago. They were confident now, secure in the knowledge that they were loved and valued exactly as they were. "Yes," Martha said, her voice thick with emotion. "Jack can be your Papa." As the girls cheered and threw themselves into Jack's arms, Martha realized that sometimes the most profound healing comes not from forgetting the past, but from finding people who help you build a future where love replaces fear, where children learn their worth, and where families are created through choice and dedication rather than just circumstance. Lucy and Rose would grow up knowing they were treasured daughters, raised proud by a man who understood that a father's greatest achievement is helping his children see their own unlimited potential.